Awesome.
Yay. So, welcome everyone. My name is Isabella Bablumian. I'm here in Rio de Janeiro. And for those of you who have participated in these webinars before, you know we've been doing this since the crisis started in March, because, you know, before I used to have in-person trainings with different professors on wellness and healing and things like that in Rio, in Ipanema actually. But unfortunately that got you know, put on pause for a little while. So I decided to continue doing this work online. And that actually opened up a lot of possibilities, like bringing people like you, Stanzie, from, you know, all the way from, wait, I forgot where you are right now.
I'm in Idaho right now.
No, Idaho. I was going to say Utah, but sorry. Almost. And it's really exciting because, you know, we can also have people joining us from, you know, all different parts of the world. I myself am from Armenia. I've lived in the US and now I'm in Brazil. So my network is pretty, it's kind of, you know, I never know where people will show up from. So we have people from Peru, Spain, Armenia. That's my mom from California. She's in California though. Brazilians. Oh, we have people from Germany joining. Texas.
Cool.
Awesome. This is so cool. Yay. And just as, you know, as people are coming in, you know, the webinars that I started are called Alone or All One, Reconnecting Body, Mind, and Spirit. And the idea was really to see this opportunity that, you know, something, you know, for most people, it was a really negative event. And of course, it's very challenging for us to be living in these times. We have to reevaluate the way that we're living our lives and just about everything, the way we do everything, right? The way we think, the way we work, the way we communicate with each other. So it's a really challenging time for a lot of us. But at the same time, I think it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for us to really look inside and to be able to really reconnect all of the different parts of us that have been, you know, for most of us living sort of separate from one another. And I like thinking of being able to reunite body, mind, and spirit into one so that we can really see more clearly. I personally, I come from a background of holistic nutritionist, personal trainer, and then I started psychology and then international health. So I've looked at health and wellness from all these different perspectives, but ultimately, when I started Imbody Wellness, my company here in Rio, 3 years ago, what I wanted to bring to people is the concept that I call pleasurable wellness. The idea that, you know, wellness comes from within, and whatever we do has to be really, you know, congruent with who we are, pleasurable, enjoyable. And with these webinars, every time I bring someone, it's a little bit of a selfish decision who I bring, because I really want to bring people that I want to learn with, and you know, to share this beautiful wisdom that exists out there. And I feel like, you know, we're living in the era of this really wonderful transformations, and there's so much knowledge out there, and that's the reason that, you know, I wanted to connect all these people and bring this indispensable knowledge that we need now to understand ourselves better, right? For self-awareness and connecting to our energy, internal energy, to our spiritual parts as well, but also to reconnecting the physical and the energetic realms. And that's why I'm really, really honored and excited to welcome Stanzie Langtree. I got really, here, I'm just adding people here as I speak. So I'm really eager and really honored to welcome Stanzie Langtree, who is not only a person who, you know, I don't know if you watched the episodes from the Goop on energetic alignment, and she brings the same technique that was shown there, which is called the network spinal, right, by Donnie Epstein. And aside from that, I think that's kind of more of the, people know about this technique a little more just because of the, because of the series. But I got to experience Stanzie's work, incredible work, totally by accident, and very, all the forces of, of the universe really collaborated for me to be able to meet you. It was really random. I was living in Rio, and I ended up having to spend time a little bit in the wilderness by the sea. And I was very lucky to meet our neighbor, who just happened to have met you like a week before that, and to invite you to give a very informal, small workshop to share your work. And it was a really beautiful way to really get an introduction to the work that you do, which I think you can tell us better, but it includes healing. You were a chiropractor, right? You practiced chiropractic for many years. So it's also connected to the, to the physical aspects of our alignment, right? Which is really important. You're also a yoga teacher, from what I understand, a singer. Stanzie really brought a lot of, the healing vibrations of sound in her webinar as well, or in a workshop as well. So I'm not sure how much of it you can share with us in this hour. That's why I'm going to stop talking and turn it over to you, Stanzie. But today's webinar, we decided to dedicate to releasing trauma, to really unlock this higher potential that we have. And I think that's something that's of really utmost important for us right now, right? As we're living through these challenging times, to see what's hiding in there and how we can unlock it and what's blocking it. So Stanzie, welcome again. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me here. And it's so great to see you and all the beautiful people jumping on. And hello to everyone on Facebook Live. I can't see you, but I can feel you. So sending you all lots of love, and really excited to share with you all today. And it is, like you were saying, it is a great time to be doing inner work and inner discovery. There's a big shift of energy on the planet right now, not only with, COVID, but also with the social structures and cultural structures that we have in place are not necessarily relevant or are outdated. And so with that, we are on an individual level being called to take a look inside. And not everyone, but a lot of people have more time to do that because of isolation and things like that. So I am really, excited to share with you today about how important it is that we release these traumas and stuck energies that are holding us back so that we can really live our highest potential. And this is something that I'm really passionate about, so I'm excited to share that with you today. So that said, I'm going to be trying to condense as much as I can in an hour, so I won't be able to give you, the full story of my background and how I do what I do, but I will give you some useful information and hopefully some at least guidelines or some ideas or tools that can take you forward from here. And yeah, so that said, I wanted to—
And Stanzie, we will just to let people know, the recording will be available on a Facebook page that I will post on here. And if you have any tools and anything that you want to share afterwards, or your contact information, so people can get in touch with you, that would be wonderful, because I'm sure that you will really get people wanting to learn more from you. So just to make that.
That's great. Yeah, we can definitely stay in touch after, and you guys can find me online and continue the journey there. So first of all, today we're talking about letting go, right? And I thought it would be useful for you guys to take a moment and think about, what is it that you really need to let go of right now? Maybe there's something that's holding you back. Maybe it's a behavior. Maybe it's a thought pattern. Maybe it's certain people or things. Go ahead and write it down. And so I really encourage you guys to write during this talk, because it helps you to remember and integrate everything that we're going to be going over today. And when you're finished writing, if you want to, you can even share a short message in the chat box and share, and on live, you can also share it too. What do you need to let go of? What are you ready to let go of? Okay, shoulder pain, that's good. Letting go physical symptoms. Self-judgment, that's a good one. Wow, yes, chasing people that owe me money. Yeah. I like that you just put it out there. It's good. And it's true, the chasing just kind of chases it away anyways. You know, the frequency of that unconscious will to fit in. I like the vulnerable shares, you guys. You guys are awesome. Back pain, loser back pain. Yes. Oh, lower. I was like, yeah, back pain it sucks. Okay. Lower back pain. Yes. Separation from my higher self. Clarice, I thought you were making a joke saying it was like your back pain is a loser. Okay, cool. So I like that you guys are really tuning in and getting an idea of what you're needing to let go of. And if you don't know what you need to let go of, then that's okay. Maybe it will become more clear as we go through our talk today. So as a chiropractor, so I initially became a doctor of chiropractic, and I started my journey of learning the human body in yoga, and then I became a chiropractor. And what I realized is that a lot of my patients that were coming into my practice were having physical pain for years and years and years, and nothing was helping. And these really interesting things would happen where I would work on them, and then they would have like an emotional release. Maybe they would cry, or just have like a deep sensation of feeling within themselves. And then after, their pain would go away. And not only that, they were changing how they were showing up in their lives. So what I started to realize is that the physical symptoms in the body are really related to stored energy and often emotion that hasn't been expressed or processed. And so as I went on my own healing journey, I also discovered this. So in chiropractic college, I was, I was about to finish chiropractic, and I had a series of challenging relationships, and I was in this really toxic relationship at that point. And then I was about to start my chiropractic practice. And so I was like coming to a point in my life where I was really reevaluating everything. It was like, okay, why am I attracting these bad relationships? So I shouldn't say bad. I mean, they were learning experiences, but they definitely were toxic. And I knew that I was the common denominator, so I couldn't just point fingers at all the other people. And then I was starting my practice very soon. And I was like, okay, I have to go into the unknown, start my practice from nothing. And it was a lot of stress and pressure. And so this led me to basically get to a point where I was like under so much pressure that I was feeling anxious and depressed and just really uncertain about myself. And so this led me on a path of healing and healing myself. So I started to go to a lot of different healers and do a lot of retreats and seminars, and really wanted to discover myself and move past these old patterns, because I knew that it was all happening within me, and I was then creating that in my reality. So what I discovered was that my life was actually quite traumatic, but I didn't necessarily perceive it as traumatic because that was just how I grew up, right? My mother died when I was 7, and then I didn't really have a very stable life after that. My dad was like, didn't know what to do with himself. And so I lived with other people, like family, friends, and one of my aunts. And so I lived with other people until finally I could live with my dad when I was a teenager. And we didn't get along by that point because I was a teenager, and it was just really stressful, challenging life. And so what I realized is that I had all of these little traumas and stressors and experiences that I hadn't processed or dealt with growing up. And it had led me to then having these really unhealthy relationships and self-sabotaging behaviors. So when I started doing all this healing, I started to realize that all of this emotion was stuck in my body. And like most of my life, even though my mother had died and it was so traumatic and a shock, it was so much of a shock that I remember I only cried maybe once or twice, and that was it. Like I just froze. And if I look back at photos of myself when I was a kid, and I really do look kind of frozen, And so what I realized in doing my own healing work is that I had all of these emotions frozen in my body. And I had all of these traumas and experiences that I forgot about or just ignored stuck in my body. And it was creating an external experience of challenge, frustration, and lots of challenges in relationships and things like that. So all of these traumas were basically creating an external reality that wasn't very pleasant. And I was feeling a lot of anxiety and depression and things like that. So on the healing path, I started to reconnect to my body and my emotions and started to feel. And you have to feel to heal. So I started feeling, and all these emotions started just pouring out. I remember one time I went to this grief ritual that was led by this African woman, Sabanfu. I don't know if anyone here has heard of her. Unfortunately, she passed away, but apparently in the African villages, they would do these grief rituals anytime something challenging happened, and they would basically support each other in crying and releasing emotions. So I remember going to this grief ritual and just like crying for 2 days straight. And I thought, oh my God, wow, that's a lot. But by the end of it, I felt really light and really free. And so through my own journey and then working with lots of clients and helping them work through their physical pains, I realized that these stressful experiences or traumas get stuck in the body, and if they haven't been processed or released, they just stay there. And it's basically stored as energy, like stuck energy, stuck in different parts of the body. So I'm in my chiropractic practice, and while I'm discovering all of this and healing myself, I'm also starting to get a lot of intuitive downloads. So I'm starting to have visions of how to work with people energetically. And so I was very scientific and analytical, so it was a little bit challenging for me because I was like, this is weird. I don't know what's happening right now. But eventually I couldn't ignore it any longer, and I started to work with people energetically, with my clients that were open and wanted to receive that. And what I found was that the energetic healing was more powerful than just the chiropractic work. So this is sort of the short version of the story, but basically I did my own case studies in my practice and realized that working energetically helped to not only release stuck energy that was causing physical symptoms, but also release any traumas or energies that may be emotionally related and that are holding that were holding people back from their higher potential and living the life that they really want to live, you know, and living a happy life. So as I did this, I developed the energetic alignment, which is the type of energetic work that I do now. And so what I have found is that when we can start to release these energy blocks in the body from stresses and traumas and emotions, then we can start to free up that energy and start to create more flow of energy within the body. Okay. And so when we have more flow of energy, we are basically becoming more abundant in energy. All right. So when we have more energy flowing, we are accessing a higher state of our being. I also see these energy blocks, you know, these stored traumas as almost like fog. It's like fog hanging out within your body, and it makes it very foggy for you to see who you are and what you really want in this life. And so what I find is that there are so many people who come to me and they say, I don't know what my purpose is. Who am I? What am I supposed to do with myself? Why can't I feel happy? I try to achieve these things and I still don't feel happy, or I feel empty at the end of the day. And so what I realize is that all these energies are fogging up our being, and we're not able to see clearly who we really are. And so then we live a life that isn't aligned, right? So the spiritual path is about discovering who you are, who you really are. Because we have years of conditioning from family and schools and societies and whatever else that we don't even know who we are, because we are actually living by the rules and the paradigms of others and of our societies. So the spiritual path is saying, okay, how do I peel away or unlearn all of the stuff that I have picked up throughout my life and release all those traumas and all those blocks so that I can be connected to the truth of who I am. And when we start to have that inner knowing, then we can start to live a life that is aligned, that is fulfilling, that is joyful.
It's interesting, right, Stanzie? Sorry to interrupt, but that really resonates with me, because I've had some personal, it's a similar personal journey, and it's really interesting that what you're saying, it's actually about unlearning and not learning. You know, I think our rational mind constantly tells us we need to learn more techniques and we need to learn to eat better and do this and do that. And yes, you know, there's certain truths to that too, but I think you're completely right. You know, it's about unlearning and really reconnecting with this essence that's that gets us to the places that we really need to be, right? And connects us to who we are. So
exactly.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, it's, you know, that's really what it is, peeling away those layers. And then it's about remembering, you know, we unlearn all of this other garbage so that we can remember who we really are. So, well, not many of you have your screens on, but I was going to say, you know, who here has experienced some very stressful event or a trauma at least once in their life? Yeah, everybody, right? So it's like, the reality is that as humans, we experience all of these different stresses and challenges. And I mean, I remember when I went into chiropractic practice, I couldn't believe how many people would tell me these traumas that they had experienced. I mean, it was almost every person that came through my door when I did their intake, there was some level of trauma. And it was just like, wow, you know, there's so many things that happen to people, and it's, you know, we all have these experiences in some way or another. So if we really want to rise above that, then we have to do the inner work and healing to move on and release those things, because the traumas and the stresses and the confrontations, they are going to be just stuck within you until you resolve them. And those traumas and those blocks, they create challenge, resistance, struggle in your life. So if you have any area of your life that you have resistance, so let's say you have a business and you're like, I really want to take my business to the next level, I guarantee that there's something within you that needs to be resolved before your business will go to the next level. If you have challenges with a family member or a relationship, and you're like, oh, that person, they drive me crazy, or I can't stand them, why won't they change? I guarantee there's something within you that needs to shift and resolve, because and it's because what's happening within you is creating your external reality. So people are mirrors to us. So I'll give an example. Actually, it was when I was in Brazil. So last year I had this conflict with a person, and we couldn't resolve it. It was like we did not see eye to eye, and it was like we had to agree to disagree. And then we didn't talk for many months after that. And I was in Brazil in isolation, just sort of doing my own thing by myself. And I was doing a lot of self-healing work, because the self-healing never really ends. So, and so I felt like I had some resistance, you know, within myself. So I was starting to work on this and feel it and connect with it and try to heal this. And I had this release of energy, and I think I might have cried a little bit. And the realization that came to me was that I was, in that moment, I had a realization that I was afraid to let go of relationships. And I thought, oh, well, I'm glad I've healed that, because like sometimes you don't need to hang on to every relationship. Sometimes it's good to just let go, you know? So I had this energetic release that blockage. And guess what? During that time frame, the person that I had had a conflict with messaged me and said, hey, I am so sorry for how I treated you last year. And, you know, that was really, you know, not cool. And I just want to let you know that I really appreciate you and all of this. So me doing healing work on myself shifted how someone else showed up in relation to me. And I didn't talk to her. I hadn't talked to her for months. But because I did the healing work on myself and I released that energy block, then a person that I had a conflict with all of a sudden apologized and we became friends. Okay? So when you do the energetic healing and releasing, your external reality shifts. And so this is why, you know, if you're really wanting to live a life that's really fulfilling, that's expanding, that's growing, that's bringing you joy, then doing that deeper healing work is one of the steps to experiencing a life like that. Because all of the challenges that we have in life are just reflecting the disconnection that we have within ourselves.
Stanzie, and can I ask you a question? There are a lot of different modalities of energy healing that keep appearing and that exist out there, and there are ancient ones and the newer ones. How do you recommend really, you know, finding what you know, what works for, I guess, for each of us, something different might work, right? But how do we navigate this world of energetic healing, and how is your technique different, or, you know, which kind of modalities do you combine?
Yeah. So you're right in that, you know, different approaches will resonate with different people. And because I am, well, I used to be a researcher in college, you know, I did a lot of researching and studies, and so even when it came to healing, I went and immersed myself into many different modalities and experiences, and you know, sometimes you just have to go on that journey and discover what works best for you. For me, I love to have optimal results. So I like to see how can we have the fastest results in the easiest way and the most efficient way. So that's how I developed what I do and my programs, my retreats and my energetic alignment events, which you went to, Bella. And basically I have brought together and condensed down into a really easy way of healing. So I actually have an online course, if anybody is interested in this healing path, where I have the whole self-healing process outlined and recorded, so you can do that. But yeah, it's sometimes you just have to explore and try different things until you find what works. But I will say there are some key things that make some methods better than others. Were you going to say something else?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I really loved how in your work you combined, you know, I don't remember exactly, but there was the movement, the sounds, and the energetic alignment itself, and also the body work, right? So I really love how it's a combination of a number of things that you work, and it makes it so much more powerful, right? It's a combination of different modalities. So one modality worked better for, you know, later I spoke to the participants, and for something worked much better than the other one. But I think it's a combination that was really healing. Do you think we can get a taste of something?
We'll definitely do like a tune in with a meditation, but there won't be time to do like a healing process because it's, you know, takes a little bit to get there.
It's time consuming. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I like to, so there's different ways that we can connect to ourselves. Okay. So we are physical bodies having, you know, a physical experience, an emotional experience, a mental thinking experience, and then an energetic experience. So we've got these 4 parts to our being: body, mind, emotions, energy. So I like to address all of these levels. And what I've found is that a lot of personal development and even healers may only be working on, you know, one of those aspects. And what I found is that people, I mean, even practitioners out there are not doing the deeper work. All right. Because it takes a level of skill and courage and ability to hold space for someone to go into that deeper, let's say, emotional release and things like that. So I find that people will get energetic healing, but it's almost like it's like they're not going and digging in deep. And so this is what I like to encourage people, is that if you really want to have true results and true shifts, you know, major shifts in your life and in your body, then you got to go and dig in, and you got to go for it. And when you dig in and you feel what's there, then you're going to be able to heal it. So what was I going to say about that? So that said, you know, I have found that a lot of people don't address the emotions. And so emotions are really nothing to be afraid of, but people are afraid to go there because a lot of cultures don't allow people to express their emotions. So emotions are expressed through sound, through movement, through feeling, and through breathing, right? So there's these 4 aspects to emotions. And so I really try to activate those different parts in the work that I do. So some of you guys are writing that down. So if you want to hear it again, it's feeling, movement, breath, and sound. These are the four aspects of expressing emotion. Think about if you laugh, ha 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 ha. You make sound, you move, you're breathing, and you're feeling something that brings that laughter out. So, so that's how we express emotion, and emotion really only lasts a few seconds to a minute. And so a lot of people are afraid to feel and dig in deeper to feel what's there, because they're like, oh God, if I feel sadness forever, that's going to be terrible. I don't want to deal with that. But the reality is, if you actually feel and connect to an emotion fully, it will only last a few seconds to a minute, and then it's gone, and then you feel so much lighter. So even though sometimes people have a little bit of fear of feeling deeper within themselves, it is actually the most rewarding and transformative way of releasing all of this old trauma and stress to then step into the truth of who you are. Okay, so let me look at the time. I'm trying to go quickly because we don't have a lot of time. All right.
We can always go over a little bit. It's not like I don't have to end exactly at 6. Sometimes we've even gone over to 6:30, but I don't know how many people can stay, or if you can stay, but no, yeah, no worries.
All right. So we went over emotions. Yep, good. All right. So let's talk about this energy. So let's say emotion is stuck in the body. Let's say when you were a kid, you fell down and you wanted to cry, but then your parents are like, no, don't cry. And so then you hold in the emotion, and then that emotion gets stuck in the body, and maybe it even felt traumatic, because then, the parent just walked away and was like, I'm not talking to you. And so then it became a traumatic experience. And so that gets stuck in the body, right? And so what we have to do is we have to start feeling and connecting to that stuck energy. And then as we do that, it starts to liberate. So imagine there's energy all bound up, and then with our awareness and our focus and our healing energy, boom, the energy expands. And so what happens is, as we release these little pockets or blocks of energy, we become more abundant. There's more energy flowing. And when we have more energy flowing, that means we can put that energy to what we want to experience. So let's say you have a vision of, I don't know, maybe you want to open a new business of something that you're passionate about. So when you have more energy flowing through you because you've released and healed, then that energy can then be focused into what you want to create. So what I found in my chiropractic practice was that as I was doing a lot of healing work on myself, I just became super abundant in my energy. It was like expansion of energy through my being. And my practice started to take off. I mean, I had not been in practice for very long, and it just almost took off overnight. Like, I had so many people coming in, so many people being referred to me, and then eventually I started traveling the world and working with celebrities, and this is not, something that I even thought was possible. I thought that life, all life had for me was to just, have a practice and, basically scrape by for many, many years until, I had built up my practice over years. But the reality is that I just did the work on myself. The energy became very abundant, and then my life became abundant, and I had lots of opportunities coming my way. So
how do you know if there's a hidden and stuck emotion? I mean, sometimes it's so, right, like we have trauma that we don't even know about. And unless it comes out in some kind of a physical pain or illness, God forbid, but how do we recognize that there's something actually
good
there?
Question. And the physical pain and illness, just to touch on that, is usually when the energy has been stuck for so long that your body is screaming at you saying, something needs to change. So the physical symptoms come after years of disconnection. So how do you know? Well, if you don't feel it specifically in your body shouting at you as a symptom, then you might have awareness of it in your life. So maybe you're just like, oh, I keep feeling like I can't have a better relationship with this person, or I'm not making money like I should, or I'm not manifesting a soulmate, or whatever it is you want or that you're wanting in your life, and you're feeling a block, then that's a sign that, okay, there's something within me that's blocked. And then through meditation, and this is when a healer can be really helpful, because healers are able to guide you like a tour guide. It's like, oh, hey, look here. This is where that pattern is stuck, and this is how we can release it. Because sometimes we can't see it, right? Or feel it. But if there's something in your life where you feel stuck or resistance or challenge, then you can take a moment and say, okay, where is this in my body? And so you might be able to just intuitively say, oh, I feel it right here, or in my hip, or my back. Or you may have to have a little extra help if you can't feel where it is in your body. So why don't you guys just take a moment and write in the chat box one area in your life where you feel stuck. It might be the same as what you're wanting to let go of, but as what we wrote earlier. But what is an area or a pattern in your life where you're just feeling stuck or blocked?
So there are couple relationships, health and economic area, weight management,
Financial.
Yeah, I would say financial. Anyone else?
Health.
Yeah. Ability to find time to meditate and to do nothing.
That's an interesting one. It's like the meditation and doing nothing is usually the key to feeling and connecting to yourself. So if you're avoiding meditation and being present, then you're probably avoiding feeling what's inside.
Yeah, we have health and movement, financial.
Love, yeah, okay. All right. So the first step to working with these blocks is to feel and to be present, to bring awareness to yourself. So awareness, self-awareness, and feeling. So this is why I recommend that everyone do meditation. Because meditation is basically pausing and getting present. And so when you meditate, you're able to basically tune in to yourself. And when you are connecting to yourself, then you can start to feel what's there. And then when you feel what's there, you can start to unlock the energy that's stuck or the trauma that's stuck. And so I have a meditation that I recommend. If you don't have one already, it's on my website, so you can check that out. But it's called the Daily Alignment Meditation. And basically, it's a 15-20 minute meditation that can help you to connect to yourself, to feel, to breathe, and to connect to energy. So it's really well-rounded, and it's a great daily practice. And so with meditation, you want to meditate every day. So when I was a chiropractor, I discovered with my patients that they started to have results after meditating for about 2 to 3 weeks. So if you just sit down and meditate once or twice, you're going to be like, yeah, it doesn't work, whatever. But the magic happens from doing meditation daily for a couple of weeks or more. So I always recommend to do a 40 days where you meditate for 40 days. And if you miss a day, you go back to day one. And so this is what I had to do to keep myself accountable, because I was like this. I was like, I hate meditating. And, and so, but then I had hit rock bottom, and I realized, all right, something's got to change. So I guess I better start meditating. And after about I think it was about 2.5 weeks, one day I woke up feeling happy for no reason, which was like, this was like my first awakening experience, because my whole life I felt like I was under a dark cloud, life was tough. And after meditating for 2.5 weeks, I woke up and I was like, wow, I feel so happy, and I don't even know why. And everything was just so beautiful and amazing. And so meditation can really, really help. And there's a billion studies out there to show it. So meditation is the first thing that I would recommend that you guys start doing if you aren't already. And meditation helps you to focus on yourself and start feeling what's there. Then the second aspect is feeling, like I was saying. And so when you start to notice resistance in your life, start to feel, where is that in your body? And see if you can start feeling and connecting to that part of yourself. And then if emotions come up, to let them out. So like if you want to cry, see if you can just let that emotion flow. Or if you feel like you're angry, you can go find a pillow and punch the pillow and just get it out, or even yelling into a pillow. I know it sounds extreme, but it can be a really nice way to quickly release anger, or whatever emotion comes up, to just let it out. Okay. And then if you're feeling like this is like you're not able to connect to emotion or really feel it, that's when you need to get a healer or a little more assistance and have someone help you. So for me, I had, a lot of assistance and help on my healing journey for many years until I was able to do it on my own. So also wanted to encourage you guys that in the beginning, if this is the beginning of your journey for healing, then get help, because, it's okay. It's fine to have help. And then you'll get better, and you're going to get more connected to yourself, to where it'll be easier to bring awareness to yourself and heal and release what's not aligned. So it gets easier over time. And then, like I said, if you're wanting a place to start, I've also got my online course that takes you through a whole healing process for 8 weeks. And that's really useful. Okay, so once you start to heal and release these layers, then you start to get to the truth of who you are, and you can start to live more aligned with that. So when you release all these traumas and all these things that aren't you, then you start to see the truth of your soul, and you start to feel a calling of how you want to live your life. And then you can start to have the energy and the fuel to then live in alignment with that. So I like to say you become a conscious creator. How can you create a life that is true to you? How can you live life on your terms? How can you live life fulfilled? Okay. And so the deeper healing work is the first step. Positive thinking and motivational stuff is awesome, and it's definitely helpful. And I've done a lot of that, and I share a lot of that. But what I found is that the true change, the lasting change, doesn't happen until you work on the deeper layers. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah, and it has to be continuous, right? It's not something that like you release and that's it. Woo-hoo. I've discovered that, it's like this, despite the fact that I've tried a lot of different, I'm lucky to be working. I have a company in wellness, so I get exposed to a lot of different modalities and, try different things. And I think, I got to the perfect level. I don't have any more trauma. I don't have anything to release. And then I'm like, oh no, where did that come from? So,
That's a really great
work.
point.
It's constant work. Like at your workshop, I was sure, you know, nothing would happen, and I was there like bowling, right? And I didn't even know where that was coming from. So yeah, I think it's like you said, it's a daily journey.
Yeah, that's a really great point, because I've had people come to my retreats and they thought that like after a week they were going to be enlightened, and I was and then it's like no. So I like to share about, say it like this, where we've gone, you know, our entire life learning how to live a certain way that probably isn't aligned. You know, maybe some of you here have been living true to yourself, which is awesome, but most people have been living their lives opposite of who they are. So, you know, that could be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years of life, right? And so if you're wanting to heal and live your true potential, then you've got a lot of unlearning to do. And then you've got a lot of practicing, right? So you have to practice choosing and living the truth of who you are. Otherwise, you just easily go back into old patterns. So it's a combination of releasing and letting go of what's not you, and choosing every day, what is you? What is the truth of who you are? And how can you live that? So you have to have that balance. Let me see. I just got a question come through in a private message. Okay, can I talk about the type of meditation I practice? Yes. So the daily alignment meditation is a combination of breathing. So there's alternate nostril breathing, which helps to basically balance your body and also activate both sides of the brain. So that's more of a physical connection. And then there's a type of breath that I teach, and it helps to start move the energy up through the chakras and cycle the energy. Then there's a mantra, just a om, and that helps to, the vibration and the sound helps to activate different chakras, and also helps to open the throat chakra, because a lot of people aren't speaking their truth, right? So when we make sounds, it can help to activate the throat chakra. Then there's a part where we do some gratitude, and then there are some parts in the meditation helping you to connect to the energy field within you and around you. So like I said, it's a pretty well-rounded approach where we're getting connection to the body, the mind, and even emotions and the spirit, and integrating that all just in the meditation. So it's a great practice to do every day. Let me see. Cool. So that said, I think if there are any other questions, we'll take those now. Let me see what time we are at. Okay. So maybe if there are any
We're 5 minutes to the hour. So yeah, questions, and then we'll do that meditation. Yeah.
Yep. We'll do, take a couple of questions, and then we'll do a quick meditation together.
Sounds great. You guys can either write it and I'll read it out loud, or you can just unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yep. So you guys, the chat box, or if you're on Facebook, you can do it in the comments there. And
can I ask something?
Yeah.
Hi. So my question is about the meditation. Which one is more which one is better to get tuned into meditating? Like just sit in silence or listen in something?
Well, I think either is fine. Meditation is a practice of focus. But some people find it easier to have a guided meditation. Like with the meditation that I have designed, you can listen to the recording of my voice, or once you've learned it, you can just do it on your own without any sound. But basically, meditation, there's many types of meditation. There's chanting, there's movement, there's sitting in silence, there's breathing. I mean, the list goes on. So finding a meditation that you connect with, that you want to do is the best way to start. And then as you get better practiced at meditation, maybe you can try other things. So yeah, does that answer your question?
I mean, I'm struggling, like trying to, it's on and off. It's like, I don't feel anything, it would be great to get to that level that you mentioned, but it's just like doing it without really feeling that something happened. And so it's like on and off, I feel guilty when I'm off, and then I'm trying to get on, but still don't feel much.
Yeah, well, for me personally, maybe some days I'm not feeling like super excited about meditating, but what I notice is that if I miss a couple of days, then I notice that my days aren't going as smoothly and as easily as they do when I meditate. So I notice it more in how my day plays out after meditating versus not. And if, let's say, you're doing a certain type of breathing meditation and it's just, it's not working for you, then I would just say try a new one. But like I said, the key is to do it every day for at least 2 to 3 weeks. So if it's, only a few days a week, then you probably aren't going to be feeling much benefit from any meditation. And, if you're wanting a new option, maybe check out my meditation because it incorporates a lot of different aspects. So
I was going to say, Stanzie, that the breathing and the sounds that you mentioned, I've tried that myself. I think you were a singer. I also sing, and I think that the vibration really helps you reconnect with your body, and the breathing as well. So it's almost like you're breathing, and all of a sudden you're much more connected, and then the meditation just happens. I really like that incorporation of the body, because sometimes it's so awkward for people who've never really listened to themselves to all of a sudden sit there like, what is it supposed to feel like, right?
Yeah.
But as you're chanting or the singing or whatever, making sounds and breathing, sometimes it just will happen naturally, and you get that that moment, you're like, this is what I'm looking for.
Yeah. And some days it's going to happen easily, and other days it's like, but actually it's those days where you feel like you don't want to meditate. That's when you need it the most. So keep at it, and, maybe try a new one if your current one's not working. So I've got a couple of questions in the chat box. Susan says, do you do your healing online? Yes. So I do, like I said, I have an online course, and then I do have some availability for online sessions. And then when things are moving again, I also have events where I do energetic healing and teach many other useful tools as well for meditation and self-discovery. So my plan is to have my Bali retreat, which is my immersion retreat, at the end of January. So I've had to postpone it a few times, but that's probably the next live event that will happen. Will be that one. And then I have one other question in the private chat box. Said, what did you say about lower back pain, separation from the higher self? Okay. So low back pain would be potentially, especially if you've had it for 12 years and it's draining your energy, I would say that there's probably some energy stuck there and some stuff that you haven't fully dealt with that you can feel into and connect to. So maybe it's good to get a healer to help you connect there, because it's been going on for so long. And then you made a comment, separation from the higher self. So what I'm saying is that when we have traumas and blocked energies, it's like a distraction and a disconnection from our soul essence, from even source or divine energy that flows through us. So I didn't go into this very much today, but I talk about this a lot in my course and things like that. we are physical vessels for source, divine, universe, God, goddess energy, whatever word you want to put to it, right? So this meat suit is just the vessel to run this energy through. And so when we have these traumas and we have the pain and the disconnection, the blockages, it's like it's distorting our physical vessel from having a clear flowing energy of source. Okay, so when we start to clear and release this, I like to say the baggage, you gotta let go of the baggage we're holding on to, then we become a vessel, an open, clear vessel for source and your soul. And so this is what I really focus on in the energetic alignments that I do, is not only do we release all the, the blocked energy, but then how can we more clearly focus through your being, your soul essence and divine? Because when you are really truly embodying these high frequency energies, then you are going to be living a life that is magnetic. You attract abundance to you. You have a calling. You have a clear sense of, I have a calling to do this in my life. I have a calling to bring this to the world or to create this. And that's a very different experience than the mind thinking, oh, I should do this because this is the right thing to do. Or I should, make plans for this because this is how we do it in society. When you connect to your soul essence and source, those rational things go poof, right? And then you start living in alignment with an energy that's so much higher than the mind and this physical body. And your life goes from ordinary to extraordinary. And you get more than you even thought was possible. And it's like, wow, how did I get to be so blessed? So we are truly blessed by everything that's around us in this energy, this abundance of source. But it's through these challenges and these disconnections in our being as humans that we disconnect from that abundance and we cut ourselves off from it. But the truth is that it's always there and it's just waiting to pour through us. And when you open to that, that is a whole nother life. There's no question about who am I? It's just, how do I live this moment to the fullest? How do I extract the juice and the beauty out of this moment? And that's a whole different experience of life. And we all can have that. And it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter what you look like or any of these things. When you connect to that energy, life is extraordinary. And it already is extraordinary, but it's just, we have to release all that stuff that's blocking us from the truth of that. And when you are flowing that energy, you literally do become a magnet for everything you want. You say, oh, I would love this, and boom, it shows up. I mean, this happens to me all the time now. Growing up, I used to think I had the worst luck. Even my friends would say, wow, you really have bad luck. And when I shifted that through meditation and healing, boom, I think of something that I want and it happens. I mean, I wrote down on a piece of paper that I wanted to be Tony Robbins' energy healer. And he came to Portland. This is where I had my practice. 6 months later, he came to Portland for the first time in like 15 years. And guess what? I ended up working on him. And things like this happen even faster. Like I think, like the other day I made a reservation for a restaurant and I hung up the phone. And then like 10 minutes later, I thought, it would have been much better if I had made the reservation 30 minutes later. And then guess what? My phone rings and I answer the phone and the restaurant called me and said, hey, is it okay if we make your reservation 30 minutes later? This is the crazy, magical, miraculous stuff that happens when we dig in and release all that stuff that keeps us separate from this source energy that's flowing all around us and within us. So it kind of sucks having to dig in deep and feel the stuff that we don't want to feel. But when you do it, it's worth it. So much more comes from that. And life just gets extraordinary. All right, I just went on a rant. So let me see if there are any other questions.
That was incredible. That's what we all, really need to hear. especially, in these crazy times we're living, Stanzie. It's really important to hear these inspiring messages because, we often get really distracted. I think the word is distraction, really, by all the negativity that's out there, and we forget that this magic is possible, despite it all, and despite all the negative circumstances that we we absorb if we want to absorb it, right? And if we can channel all this incredible energy if we choose to. So it's really,
yeah, it's true. I mean, I saw this so clearly when I started to visit Bali, and then I moved there. And I mean, these people have most of the people that live there have very little money, like $1 or $2 a week to live off of. And they're so happy and they're so grateful. And then I work with these like billionaire people who have everything they could ever want, and they're the most unhappy, stressed out people. Money is not the answer. Material is not the answer.
I can say the same thing about people who live in the Brazilian slums. They're the most fun-loving people. They dance, they sing, and of course people have a lot of problems, but you see that energy, the connection to, and of course it's with generalization, but you don't need money to be happy. It's kind of cliche, but it's it's true.
Yeah, it's true. And it's these positive feelings and the energy has to be cultivated within. And so that's the journey there. Okay. Someone says, it sounds like you have to open some magic door to a fairy tale. Well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know if that's a sarcastic comment, but it is opening a door within yourself, and then life becomes a fairy tale, and life can be magical and life can be amazing, but you have to choose that. And so it doesn't matter what's happening in the world right now or how much money's in your bank account or anything. It's what's happening within here, because what we feel in here, we experience out there. Like, ever notice when someone's in love and, they meet someone new and then they're like, oh, they're so in love. And then everything is about love. They're like love songs and everything is beautiful. That's because they're feeling all this love. And so then everything around them is love. It can be that simple. So actually in my Bella got to experience it in my event. We did a practice where we practiced love and expanding that and feeling it all around.
Yeah.
All right. Really any last, thanks. One last question, if any, and then we'll do a quick meditation because we're going much later than planned today, but that's okay. Okay. Anybody? That's it.
Stanzie, maybe not to interrupt afterwards. I just wanted to kind of thank everyone. I will thank you later, but I want to thank everyone who might, if anyone can't really stay, and invite you guys to continue watching the webinars on Wednesday nights. I'm always trying to bring, the different modalities and practices that can help us exactly what you're describing, to really uncover this inner world. Next week we have someone that will guide us through a meditation, and kind of, this one is in Portuguese. I alternate them between English and Portuguese. Then we have someone to speak about sexuality and its healing powers. Then we have a naturopathic doctor the week after. So I really encourage you guys to follow us on the group that I sent. I'll send it again. And also, if you sign up to the YouTube channel, I have all of the recordings of all the webinars, including Stanzie's webinar there. So please feel free to sign up and watch as many as you'd like. And, you know, I think Stanzie's, we have to listen over and over to really get into that energy and not let go of it. So thanks for everyone also who showed up, and I'm really eager for the meditation. I just wanted to get that out before kind of relaxing and
all right,
into that different vibe.
All right, everyone, let's do this. So I'm going to be channeling energy and guiding you through a meditation. So you just get to follow along, and whatever you feel today is perfect for where you are right now, okay? So when you're ready, sitting up tall and closing your eyes. And we're just going to start by tuning in to the heart space. So even though your eyes are closed, imagine you're looking down into your heart. Or maybe you're like, imagine you're dropping your brain and your mind down into your heart so that you can start to feel and think from your heart space. Okay. And then we're going to send energy from the heart down to the tailbone. So imagine that you are turning on a light, and the light is turning on into your heart space. And then imagine there's like a dimmer switch, and you're going to turn the light on full shining brightness. So your heart space is shining super bright in all directions. That's behind your heart space as well. Now let this light shine down, down to your sacrum, down to your tailbone. And just activating the lower chakras. And then imagine that you're shining this light from your heart up through the top of your head. So now you're activating up through the throat and up through all the way out the crown, up and out the top of your head. Good. So you should have light shining basically up and down your spine. And then let this light, excuse me, let this light shine up really brightly out the top of your head and all the way up as if you're looking up to the sky. Go up beyond the sky, all the way up to space, through dark space, up beyond the stars and the moon, and going up, 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 even farther up until you go all the way up into a white light. Allow for your awareness to go up into this expansive white space. And now in this white space, call on your highest self. Maybe you see or feel or sense your highest expression, calling that forth from this infinite white space. What is he or she doing, feeling, expressing? Your highest self has a message for you. So just let whatever your highest self wants to say or show you, just let that come to you and trust what comes through first. And then if you have any Well, yeah, I'm getting that. So if you have a question for your higher self, maybe you could ask, what do I need to know today? Or what do I need to remember? And just receive any information that your higher self would like to give you in this moment. Good. And then we're going to call on your soul essence as a white orb of light. So imagine there's a white ball of light, and allow your higher self and your soul essence to merge into this ball of light. And then bringing this ball of light down, lowering down through the top of your head, down through your spine, until it reaches to the base of your pelvis. Then allow for this orb of light to turn into particles of light, letting that flow down your legs, up your torso, to your heart, down your arms to your fingertips, up through your throat to the top of your head, illuminating every cell of your physical body with your soul essence and your highest truth. Activating the genetic DNA code of your highest expression in this physical body. Remembering the truth of who you are in this moment. Allowing the high vibration of whatever messages came to you from your soul and your highest self. And allow that to fill up your entire being. Taking gentle, deep breaths, and with every breath, just expanding through your body the pure positive energy of your truth. If there's an area in your body that has felt stuck or resistant, just let this light fill up that area with ease. Then bringing your awareness into your heart space, letting your heart shine brightly with pure light. And then I'm going to send an energetic blessing to all of you of unconditional love and compassion for yourself and for others. So I'm going to bring a beautiful pink orb of light and sending this ball of light into your heart space, reminding you of unconditional love and compassion. Taking 3 deep breaths in, you can place your hands on your heart if you'd like, letting your heart expand with every breath. Letting ease wash over you, being fully present and embraced, fully nurtured and loved. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay. As you're coming back into your body, maybe move your body around. Feel your feet, wiggle your toes so you're grounded. And if anyone has any comments on how they're feeling, you can put that in the chat box. Cool. Lots of thank yous. You're so welcome. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for showing up for this moment in time, for yourself, most importantly, and also for the others that are here. This was a collective experience, so without you, it wouldn't have happened. So thank you for showing up full-heartedly. It was beautiful to connect with you all. And thank you for all the amazing comments. You're so welcome. So glad this was an amazing experience for you all. And feel free to stay in touch. I'm on all the social medias. So I'd love to hear as well from you guys. If this is a short meditation, but sometimes people have profound responses even from a short meditation. So if you have anything that comes up or releases, send me a message. I love hearing from you guys, and definitely stay connected.
Stanzie, thank you so very much. It was really beautiful. And thanks for sharing all the wisdom and inspiring us to live more connected to the higher self, which like I said, I think it's the most important thing we should focus on right now as we're going through this transformative and, the entering into the new era, and really reconnecting with the self is the best we can do. And you really, I think, everyone agrees here with me. You've really inspired us and really shared some really important knowledge with us. And I encourage everyone to follow this group that I'm sending here, so I can share all the information from Stanzie, and you can get in touch with her and also watch this video if you want to again. And it was really beautiful. I really appreciate it. I'm really thankful that the universe brought us together, and I have the opportunity to bring you to, for others to get to know your work and your beautiful personality. It's really wonderful to get, this positive energy amidst all the negative energy that you're facing. That's one of the things I love most about these webinars for myself, and for, bringing this a little bit of the light to light up our day, and to learn from wonderful practitioners like yourself. So thanks again.
I have one final thing.
Yes.
That you just said. I loved what you said about light, and one lit candle can light many others. So
yes,
what we're doing today is just creating an expansion of light, and what you bring into your life from today forward can illuminate others. So just remember that, keep shining, keep showing up, and that's the most amazing thing you can do for yourself and for the world. So thank you so much for having me here. You can find me online, and I put my website in the comments, and that's where you can find all the info. And
yes, thank you very much, Stanzie. And I will share all your information. Again, Stanzie Langtree, a healer, international speaker, singer. Would love to hear you sing someday too. Thank you for joining us. It's really a pleasure and an honor to have you here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.